We have with us Maria Sarela, which is a principal research scientist at the Heme University of Applied Sciences in Finland, completely very far from Italy and Croatia. And I think she will tell us about the essential accessibility information about travel chains for everyone. So we are really looking forward to your presentation, Maria. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Yes, this is far away, and we are struggling with snow and ice and that kind of things, which are really messing up all the great solutions that we have, for example, on the ground for blind people and etc. Okay, I will share my screen. My presentation is about essential accessibility information of travel chains for everyone. This is a case study that we examined a couple of years now, and we were examining the importance of considering universal design in public transport and travel chain planning, emphasizing the need for inclusive solutions that benefit as many passengers as possible without requiring any specialized adaptations. We were in the area for public transportation, not particularly for any purposes, but broadly for all kinds of purposes. By the way, thank you very much for the presentations before. They've been very, very interesting, giving me also new ideas. While physical barriers have been extensively studied, there is limited research on the accessibility information available to persons with disabilities. And our study addressed the gap by examining the essential accessibility information provided and its alignment with the needs of persons with disabilities. I will present the findings of our study with two travel chains illustrations. Now, I want to emphasize even at this point that when I'm talking about the information, we know that there is a lot of regulation for digital accessibility. This is kind of a part of what we were studying, but not the whole issue. We were more concentrating on the information of, if we think about the physical environment and all barriers there, barriers or not. So is there information available of that physical environment and its accessibilities? So that was the focus for us. The driving forces behind of the study were similar as we've already heard here a little bit. There are three driving forces at least behind this study. So first, of course, to whom accessibility is a must thing. And we've already heard great statistics in previous presentations. According to Eurostat 2023, approximately 87 million Europeans have some form of disability. So this is just, as we have now heard, just a kind of I would say it's not the whole thing. There are lots of other areas to whom it is useful to have accessible transportation. And the second one is, of course, that how in EU how we are tackling this challenge. So in EU. European Union, there is a sustainable and smart mobility strategy 2020, which aims to create sustainable, inclusive and resilient transport system. The third one is, of course, the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. There are several articles concerning this area. I have here couples which I felt were the most important in relation to our research. So Article 4, it has quite a lot of different kind of things. It's about the general application, and the general application, what I want to emphasize is to ensure and to promote the universal design and the development of standards and guidelines, to undertake research and development of universally designed goods, services, equipment and facilities. And then of course Article 5, which is about equality and non-discrimination. Article 9, accessibility, to ensure that persons with disabilities have equal access to the physical environment, transportation, information, and communication, including information and communication technologies and systems, and to other facilities and services open or provided to the public, both in urban and rural areas. And then Article 20 is personal mobility, the greatest possible independence for persons with disabilities in the manner and at the time of their choice, to quality mobility aids, devices, assistive technologies, and forms of live assistance and intermediaries, including by making them available at affordable cost and providing training in mobility skills. About the case, it's a case from Riihimäki and region in South Finland, approximately 100 kilometers north from Helsinki. It's a small town. I won't even say a city. but it's a town, 30,000 inhabitants. But what is remarkable here is that during the study we were doing, a huge effort were made to make the transportation universally designed. And now currently what there already is the transportation services like standard local path lines. They are all now accessible, low floored. Then door-to-door services, and there are 2 different door-to-door services, the R-Ride, R-Kyyti in Finnish, which is a demand responsive transportation, and then 2 fixed service lines with small buses. So when we began the study, these fixed route service lines were only for people with disabilities. And now they were thinking more that there are broader passengers who need this kind of service route. And now it's open for everyone. And then standard taxi, of course, and specialized taxi services for persons with disabilities. In Finland, we call them sote-taxi. And then most important hubs, what we have there at Riihimäki, of course, it's a railway station, the bus station, and the expressway connection to regional buses. There is interconnectivity between the hubs and regions. And then regional and local buses, including on-demand buses. They feed regional, long-distance and international trains. About who were attending the study. So overall, we had over 30 people with disabilities participating in it. But I'm now concentrating here on the informants who were kind of following the study all the way from the beginning to the end. And the age range was 40 to 82 years old. And we had, as you can see here at the left side, we had persons with physical and motor disabilities and persons with visual impairment, both blind or low vision, and then aging people. And aging people had mostly physical difficulties. A common thing for all here in North, here in Finland, was that everyone had a computer and smartphone. And that was their main tool for acquiring information and communication with others, and also that was the tool for them to find information about transportation accessibility. Now, when we think about accessible travel chain, what is it about? So, first of all the travel chain refers to a journey from point A to point B, which may consist of one or more different means of transport. Travel chain may also have hubs, for example, travel centers, train centers, where passengers change from one means of transport to another. And these hubs are very, very important, the accessibility around the hubs. So, as I already explained in the beginning, we were looking for physical environment and the information about the accessibility of this physical environment. And from this perspective, an accessible travel chain, it is a continuum that consists of accessible travel information and sales services. It also is physically accessible pathways, stops, vehicles, station facilities, multisensory route guidance, and accessibility information of the infrastructure included in the travel chain, and assistance services. And together these enable the most independent, smooth and accessible travel possible for everyone. What should be considered? Now we are already talking about the results that we had, and I'm going to later with those cases reveal what kind of perspectives there is to expect. But here are already results. So what we found as essential accessibility information. When someone is planning a travel chain, the planning phase, the beginning where you are actually acquiring the information, is the most important, because there you create the expectations of the accessibility matters of the implementation phase, which comes later on. In order your travel chain to become as smooth as possible, you need different kind of accessibility information at the planning phase. And what is it that you need? The pre-trip information on the accessibility of vehicles, stops and stations, as well as guidance and assistance services. You need to know all the way the whole journey, the whole travel chain you are going to have, different vehicles, are they accessible or not? And tickets for the entire journey. Do you have a possibility to get just the one ticket to go all the way, Or do you need several tickets, and where can you buy them? Can you buy them before the trip? What kind of services there are? And then the second goal here, right? How do you're a person who is traveling there with different kind of disabilities, she or he has to think about how do I transfer from the stop to the vehicle with assistive devices and luggage? If you are going far away and you have even luggage, is it possible? How is this possible? You need to have some kind of information at the planning phase. How is this going to happen? How can you manage with these things? And the second here at the bottom is assistance needed when transferring from one vehicle to another at hubs. So hubs may sometimes be very, very complicated. So are you sure that you can manage there? Is there assistance available? And this is something you need to know even before you go for implementing the trip. You need this beforehand. And this is information that should be available. Then what are the on-board and station facilities like, such as toilets, food, etc.? Something that were mentioned already at the previous presentations. But one of the most often mentioned facility that our participants said that they need to know, before they enter the travel, they need to know if there is toilets in a vehicle or at hubs. It's very, very important. And of course the food too. But this needs to be at the planning phase information. And then last, what kind of in-trip information and assistance is available? If something unexpected happens during the trip, who will assist you? How can you survive if something really happens, something that interrupts the whole travel chain? And this is something that we found that this is mostly lacking in Finland. In here, when we were doing this, we had over 50 different kind of travel change and different kind of experiences. And this was the thing that, everything doesn't always go so well. But there is very little information beforehand. What are you going to do if something happens? Okay, let's go to see more about those actual trips, so the cases. The first one that I have here, I have named it as a successful travel chain experience for persons with disabilities. And this case is about, here are two different blind persons, and they differ from one another. So this one is a person who is a blind person but always traveling with assistant. She doesn't rely on traveling on her own, and although she has a computer at home and she has a smartphone, she's not she likes to take a look at the internet and see how the travel could go, but she prefers in-person services. So she never goes like loading tickets to her mobile phone. She always goes to buy them from. In Riihimäki there is no station services other than there is an R-kiosk, and she's buying tickets from there. And then there's another person, a blind person, traveling independently, and he's very good at computer and also very good with smartphone. And he's doing the planning with the computer and uploading the tickets and paying them with smartphone, and also looking for timetable and the route guide. And he has several different kind of apps there. And now to getting to the railway station, which is the first hub from home to there, he's also booking this R-ride to get there and traveling independently. And here the other blind person, she's walking there because she lives quite near the station, and she's buying the ticket here. But this person comes independently here and is going to find the right platform easily, and the other one is going with the help of assistant. And then there's a train to another city, which is Lahti, and they travel with the train, and this train is not actually step-free train, so it's not accessible in that matter. But it's accessible for blind persons because they don't need to have a low-floored train. It's okay for them to take 1 or 2 steps up. While they were traveling to the Lahti city, the person with assistant is getting all the help and information from this assistant. And the person independently traveling here is getting all the information via all different kind of apps. For example, Blind Score is an app which is given for the person information, kind of a simulation information of the next city, next hub. What is the way to go to a next platform, or where is the taxi? Is the train in time, etc. And he's very comfort traveling there. So at this station, they get along all the way with assistance and with mobile phone. So this is experience that is exactly what they expected when they were planning. So everything went well and smooth. So now I'm going to change to another trip, which is the same way to go from Riihimäki to Lahti. But in this case, we have people with different kind of mobility challenges. The first one is using wheelchair, and he is not good with computers. He has a computer and he has also a smartphone, but he's not good at using them. And the second one is a skillful person with ICT tools, smartphone. She has a MS sickness, and also she can only walk for something like 300 meters, and she's using rollator. This is not the right picture. I couldn't find a rollator, but she's using rollator. And then the third person is a person who is a rheumatic person, unable to use her arms and hands. So she can walk quite well, that's not a problem, but all the luggages and heavy doors are very challenging for her. Now the planning, they were doing they were all looking for the computer, and these two persons were buying tickets with a mobile phone, but this person is preferring to buy the ticket at Riihimäki station for in-person services. The planning phase also included here is the A, which refers here now as assistance services. So everything looked well, they have a ticket, and now they're going to travel to Lahti, which is here. As I mentioned here in the previous case, the only train which goes to Lahti is inaccessible. It has steps to go, so it's not going to work for these people with different kind of mobility challenges. So they have to take a longer trip. They go to another city first, and there they change the train and then go to Lahti. But now in this case, when they arrived to Kerava, which is the next city, what happened there was that the elevator was broken, and they didn't get any information when they booked the trip. And this meant that the person who can only walk for 300 meters was not able to go at all there, and the wheelchair user could not find a way. So there was no information how to actually get to a next platform. So total broken auto travel trip. And accidentally there was a young boy who knew that there is another way to go, much longer and much steeper, but still available. And so they went this another road. It was half a kilometer, and they finally got there to the place, to the next platform. And then they began their trip to Lahti. But what happened there was that they had to order, they called the service provider that, is this elevator going to be okay when they come back, they turn back home? So they said that it's not going to be, it's taken several months to prepare. What this meant that they had to book another ticket, they had to buy new tickets, and they also lost the assistance. And they finally got the tickets, they got to Lahti, and everything there went well, and they then had to go all the way to Tikkurila visit, which is only 20 kilometers up from Helsinki, quite a long trip. And when they got there to Tikkurila to get back home, what happened was that it was rush hour. And the rush hour, and that the person who had challenges with arms and hands, she was stuck in a train, and she couldn't get out of the train because of the rush hour, and she couldn't open the door. What happened was that she traveled all the way to Pasila, so close to Helsinki, because she was unable to get out of the train. Then of course she got back there to a new train and got home. However, here what happens, another thing at Tikkurila station, because it was rush hour, there was not enough place in a train to go home. So that train that was supposed to be accessible, which was booked for the person, these two persons, they couldn't get in because there was no place for the wheelchair user. And that meant that 2 trains went and they couldn't get in there. And their tickets were not, okay for them. But finally, they called the service provider and they were allowed to go any train at all. But this travel chain showed that it really is very, very important to know things beforehand. Some conclusions. Overall, our study showed various obstacles during the travel planning phase. So missing information, including fragmented travel information and insufficient details about physical barriers along the travel chain. Challenges realizes during the implementation phase, especially at transport hubs, where persons with disabilities may encounter malfunction in elevators, inadequate multisensory guidance, and concerns regarding transfers and connections. Universal design of public transport is not fully realized, leading to fragmented travel chains or disrupted travel chain. The fragmentation of digital and physical accessibility information complicates trip planning and execution. The built environment is lacking real-time information on the functionality and infrastructure, for example, elevators, and user profiling and adaptability of a MaaS solution. MaaS there's connecting services defined, for example, the route guide. So user profiling and adaptability of MaaS solutions need improvement. As digital services become more widespread, their accessibility and accessibility information for all user groups must be ensured. This is pretty much what I had on my mind, but the maintainers should prepare for complementary solutions of accessibility in case the elevator is not working, and other things too. If there is a main solution and it doesn't work, there needs to be preparation. What is the next solution to solve the thing? And this information needs to be online and available for in-person services and also for mobile users.
So in Šibenik, we're going to build an elevator thanks to this project. Pretty aligned on what you said. So thank you very much.
Yes, here's contact information and then articles if someone likes to read more. Okay.
Yeah, sure.